What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld. And a lot of you guys have been asking me about, the defense that I've been running, the double A gap, things like that. Yo, Gmia, what's going on with that? Is there a chance that you would probably go back and run the meta? Low key, we might have to run a 3-3-5 wide. I'm going to explain to you guys what's going on right now and pretty much how you can set it up and one of the most devilish ways that I've seen it run. So recently, we've seen that halfback base has been a major issue, right? And, regular defenses, if you want to run big nickel and stuff like that, there's a chance that you can shoot the gap, depending on how you do it. But with 3-3-5 wide, it gives you a better opportunity to do it. Depending on what side you shift the line to, you can pretty much shoot the gap out of any formation. You just got to be patient and understand what's going on. So this is where it gets very, very interesting. Because of the way it's set up, most people audible down, right? From 3-3-5 normal to 3-3-5 wide using the 4-6 playbook or whatever. That is probably not as necessary as it used to be though. All right, I'm gonna explain to you guys what's happening, but there is a chance that we can go back and play with the 4-6 playbook, because if we're running edge threats and edge threat elites, you could probably get a little bit of love out of 4-6 normal. A lot of people don't really run that as much. Also, additionally, the nickel triple has some really good defenses in it as well. You can just run and pretty much have a good time sending 5 out of that formation as well. But we're going to be talking about the meta and 3-3-5 wide. And some of you guys that have been asking me, like, Gmia, how would you pretty much run it? What do you think? How does it go? The first thing, right, that I'm going to let you guys know right now. Currently, I'm running the Miami defense, and we're running the Seahawks offense, right? So why am I running the Miami defense? Typically because it has the odd in it. The nickel 3-3-5 odd, where you can send the one dude, the looper, off the edge. But I don't really run that as much anymore because EA has slowly tuned the game up to where the dude doesn't come across the edge every single time. So he EA slows it down so that the guy just stands there a little bit and you don't get that immediate rush. Does he go around the left tackle still? Yes, but it's not as immediate as it once was. So one of the things that I want to point out to you guys is this. It still remains the same. Mid zone is probably the best thing to use on a zone archetype corner. Why am I pointing that out? Acrobat at 2 AP right now is kind of ridiculous. It does give you decent benefits, but more often than not, the ball will still be thrown through your body, and guess what? You'll be still wasting 2 ability points. So mid zone, what happens is they'll stay in front, but they won't get the ball thrown to their body, and they'll still be able to make the tackle. They'll make the catch though. Your opponent's gonna make the catch, but it's sometimes you'll be able to pick it or you'll knock it away with mid zone. So I'm gonna still let you guys know, like, look, this is something that you should still consider when you're gonna be running the 3-3-5 wide, because the outside corners are very, very important, especially if you play in the cover 3 version. Some guys just play the man-to-man version and don't care, but remember, you can only have 2 one-step aheads now. So that changes everything. A lot of you guys are like, yo, that was my defense, I was sending 2, I don't care. Dudes, you guys are ridiculous, but if it was working for you, why not keep running it? A lot of dudes running around running 2-man under and don't care about anything. I'm not gonna blame you guys for that, because this game makes you go and do things like that, and it's disgusting, but you're gonna win the game, it's gonna frustrate your opponent, and that's all you really care about. So look, let's go over to the next section right here. Sean Spring, same thing, zone archetype, right? You're gonna wanna make sure your outside corners, if they're zone archetype, they have that mid zone. As far as having acrobat, that would be 2 AP each, that's 4. I don't know if that's a smart thing to do, because what I'm gonna get to next is gonna explain a little bit more thoroughly what's going on. Now, the inside stuff situation, if you go to the meta, you won't need the middle linebackers like that, all right? Pretty much what's gonna happen is this, just to make sure everybody understands what's going on. It's very, very interesting to me the way that the game works, because if you go out and just run regular 3-3-5 wide, your user is more than likely gonna be the safety, right? I would use a Ronnie Lott. I would make Ronnie Lott be my sub linebacker as a safety. The other guys that are there though, it depends on how you want to work that. If you want to put safeties there, that's cool, but I would just put your regular linebackers there and not audible down and have them off the edge with edge threat. But here goes where it gets really, really interesting. If you don't want to run 4-6, just hear me out. If you use your outside linebackers as Charles Haley and Ricky Jackson, just regular standard without audibling down, what is going to happen is this. It's going to create a situation where you're going to have to know, all right, based on the personnel that your opponent is using, you can't run man-to-man coverage with the outside guys that have the edge threat elites or the edge threat. For instance, Ricky Jackson would be on the outside. The interior would be probably Leroy Glover, Justin Smith, and J.J. Watt. Outside guys, Ricky Jackson, and then we would use, pretty much for the most part, we would use Jadeveon Clowney. That would be the very, very interesting part about everything going on. So what I would like for you guys to understand is very, very simple. When you look at what's happening with everything that goes on within the game, it is very, very important that you understand a couple things. If you're going to use Jadeveon Clowney and you're going to have it set up like that, don't try to have it so you're running two-man under. If you're going to run the two-man under version of it, you're going to have to audible down. You cannot use those guys in that regard. You could put them as the interior, though, and have them be rushers every snap and just have the outside guys play defense. You could do that. That's another option, all right? But I'm going to recommend that you go to that 4-6 defense and audible down if you want to run the meta the right way, because you do need those safeties on the outside to go ahead and do that. So you would need the right here, the alternate defense base 4-6 to be able to do that successfully. That is one of the ways that you can actually get away with running the meta successfully, having the right players in the right spots, and doing the things that are necessary in order to win the games, all right? So I may go back to that, and we'll do it for one stream to kind of see what it's like, because to be honest, if you play a good player or anybody that considers himself a pro, you can't really run a lot of defenses where you're blitzing everybody unless you have decent coverage behind it. So a lot of you guys that have been having success with the the double A gap that I've been showing you guys, you can have success with it, but if you get players that know and understand the game, they'll run bunch probably for the most part, or bunch tight end. They'll block everybody and send out like 2 routes. All right. So if you don't get the immediate pressure, that will create an issue where now you're going to lose that play. That play is now going to result in you having to run around with your user and figure out what's going on. So with the meta defense of wide, you don't have to worry about nothing. You can just send 3, sit back, everybody's in coverage, and you wait for them to make a bad read. Or you can run the zone version and even make their life even more ridiculous. And those are the ways that you can probably adjust and figure it out going forward. So if you run it with the meta, right, and you're audibling down and you want to use safeties, one of the things that I want to recommend, see, like Ronnie Lott is a hybrid, right? So he wouldn't be off the edge like, it's kind of weird with the way the block shedding is set up. I just want to show you guys what's going on before we go to the abilities. If you audible down and make him one of the outside guys like a rusher or whatever, he has an 80 block shed. So that's one of those high level ones where it's like, all right, cool. But he's a hybrid. So he doesn't really get a lot of good stuff that you could probably utilize in these situations. For me, I like him as a user. We could always go back to Derwin James if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? But I like him as a user. Let's take a look at what we could possibly give him now. You're looking for 1 ability point type of situations. So some of you guys are like, yo, what would be the best ability to give Ronnie Lott off the edge? I would assume secure tackler, because if you're not usering him, strip specialist is a user ability. So that wouldn't work. And anything over 1 AP, I don't know about giving him Mr. Big Stop, because for the most part, we would probably be rushing him. Sometimes we will man him up. So it's kind of like, it's a give or take. Because yes, he can play decent man coverage. So that would be 1 safety. The other side is very, very interesting. I would probably try to look at Taylor. I love Taylor Mays in it, but he's kind of outdated with a 95 speed. But I like Taylor Mays and what he does over there on the outside as far as running the meta defense. But he wouldn't be able to be my user. Now Derwin James on the other side of an audible down would probably work out a little bit better. We could go take a look at his abilities, because this is what it's all about. It's all about the audible down. And that's what I've been getting a lot of questions about as far as like the personnel. So I would have to put the best possible people on the outside. Derwin James would probably work out pretty well for us in that regard. So we can go ahead and take a look at his numbers real quick. 98 speed, 99 excel. Obviously he has really, really good numbers. We'll take a look at his block shed. 73 is kind of low. It's sort of like where Taylor Mays is. Taylor Mays, once Taylor Mays gets his next card, I think that the meta defense will even get more OP, because now you can give or take. Do you want to send? Do you not want to send? And you have big body guys out there that can make plays. With this right here, Derwin James, I would probably go back to making Derwin be my user, and then take a look at somebody else that could possibly, make plays for us. as far as the other guy. Even though I do like Taylor Mays, I agree with you guys. If we're running man-to-man or something, he's just not fast enough. Now, we could use Justin Reed as another player that does that. We could take a look at his numbers as well. Keep in mind, guys, however you try to go about doing it, I just recommend with the meta defense to be smart about it. So he has a 74 block shed, not too shabby. You know what I'm saying? We could put him on the other side for now until Taylor Mays is ready, and he has a 98 speed. Then in the middle, right, the middle sub linebacker, we'll have Derwin James as our user. The outside slot guy, Deion Sanders. We know who our two corners are, and then the safeties, right? The safeties, we can just put other corners, Rod Woodson, whoever else we have available defensively, and adjust it like that. Deion Sanders, Rod Woodson, we'll utilize those guys in the back end. We also have Jimmie Ward, guys. Remember, for the Niner theme team, we also have Jimmie Ward. Now, is he strong enough to put him off the edge? I don't know. Let's check if he would be strong enough. He has a 61 strength. No, he's not good. We could put him at safety. Yeah, 61 block shed, not good enough. So he would just go back and play safety for us, and that'll be fine. And then we'll pretty much go from there. As far as the interior guys, when we're going to be, audibling down, Ricky Jackson and Jadeveon Clowney would be the DNs, and then we would make Justin Smith or JJ Watt be the tackle. And then now we're just in business, and it's going to be a wild ride for whoever you're playing. Pretty much the way that it would work out, like I said, depending on how you want to run this, I'm going to be, probably labbing it for you guys. Just check me out on GmiasWorld Gaming. You'll be able to see it. I will get you the gameplay with it in full to kind of, assess where we're going with it. But I think this can make you a little bit more formidable against any type of player, to be completely honest. So definitely check it out. That's the way that I would run it. That's my personnel. But keep in mind, you can correlate this with your theme team as well. Just make sure you have the right personnel and the right type of block shedders and things like that on the outsides to run it. But I will give you further detail, and I do want to also dabble in that nickel triple. So look out for that as well. I want to thank you guys and girls for watching. Hopefully you're having a great day. Continue to be safe. Until next time. One love, y'all.